Hey guys, Keira here for Smashing Sundays. Today's topic is dealing with negativity, challenging negative thoughts, gaining strength through adversity. I haven't had a chance to watch Tracey's video yet, and I'm sure there'll be lots of really good points. And I guess I'll share with you how I deal with negative thoughts. I've done CBT, I've done DBT, and I'm now doing ECT, which is acceptance and commitment therapy, and it's slightly different to cognitive and behavioural therapy in that there isn't so much on thought changing, but more thought acceptance, if that makes sense. I still do thought challenge. I don't try and change my thoughts, but I do find it useful, you know, when I'm in a wise mind, to write down all my kind of evidence against that thought, so I've got it there as like a rational backup for when they just get too overwhelming. One way that my therapist does this with me is she sets it up like a courtroom. So I'm the lawyer, and in many cases it's me defending my eating disorder. So I have to give her reasons that will stand up in court for why a certain behaviour or thought is true. So a big one that I've had to, you know, while being very eating disordered, had to defend is the thought that I am fat. And I sat there, and everything I came up with, she'd refute. And if you don't have a therapist, maybe write them down, like your reasons for believing the thought, and then come back to it when you're in a better frame of mind, or when you're feeling safe and mindful and everything, and then challenge them. And that's really useful because there are a lot of kind of beliefs underlying my thought of I'm fat. And, you know, looking at me in this video, you can see that, like, logically that's not true. And then now I tend to look at, you know, the kind of counter argument that my therapist and I have come up with to that thought. You know, so looking at defined measurements of, like, an accepted kind of definition of what fat would be. And then going one step further, I'm going, well, so what? I hate it when my therapists say that to me, but it's really useful. Like, I'll have this thought, and it'd be like really negative and putting like a massive roadblock in my therapy, and they'll just go, so what? And, you know, it seems a little harsh and, you know, a little mean, but, you know, I went in crying because I went over a certain weight that we'd agreed on, and she's like, so? And it made me stop, and I went, yeah, that's true. So it's important to kind of look at the intensity of it as well. So that's kind of my thoughts on kind of challenging the thoughts. But even if you challenge them, they're still going to come up. I still get them. Every couple of days, the thought will pop into my head. But it's not about judging yourself for having that thought, because, you know, it's going to come up. Even, you know, people without an eating disorder have thoughts of, being fat or worthless, or I think it's part of the kind of social psyche. So it's important not to judge yourself or the thoughts. And that's where Happiness Trap has come in handy, as you can see. And what they recommend is a process called cognitive diffusion, or diffusion. And I'm a bit aware of time, so I might split this and make a second part.